Welcome back to the channel, to the second half of our double header. Today we are making some beautiful pasta with spicy Italian sausage and a beautiful roasted tomato sauce. Now I'm one of those people that, you know what, sometimes I'm out there in the market and I have something in mind that I'm going to make for dinner that night, and then you see something that looks so fantastic that, you know what, we need to make other plans and we need to reprioritize some of our decisions. So we were going to make a beautiful roasted chicken dinner for the channel tonight. We're going to make that in a couple of days time. What we're going to make tonight, I was in the market, I saw these beautiful tomatoes on the vine, I saw some beautiful Italian sausage, and I'm one of those people that I do make my own sausage. Now I happen to be out at the moment, but in about a week or so, when I've got a little bit of time off for the holidays, I am going to be making myself a proper batch of sausage. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to put that on the channel as well. I usually make it once or twice a year, and I have enough sausage. I vacuum seal them, put them in the freezer, and have my supply of sausage ready to go for the entire year. But this time I'm out, but I did see some absolutely beautiful looking sausages at the butcher, and so ended up picking up a few, and I saw these beautiful tomatoes, and that's just how dinner happened to come together tonight. And so what we're going to do, we are going to start off by kind of processing some of our vegetables here. So I've just rinsed off these beautiful tomatoes. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pluck them off the vine, and I'm just going to cut these in half before we roast these in the oven. I've got my oven preheating. It's about 400 degrees, and all we're going to do is we're just going to pull all of these off, and then all I'm going to do is basically just cut these in half and put them off to the side in a bowl. So give me about 10 minutes to do this, and I will see you when these are all prepped in about 10 minutes time. All right, I've got here a beautiful bowl of our cherry tomatoes that have just been cut in half. Now, in our part of the world, winter's just setting in, and so obviously these are not field grown. These are hothouse tomatoes. But I'm telling you, I've eaten probably 3 or 4 of these as I've been cutting them. Like candy. And when I saw them in the market, I mean, they just looked absolutely stellar. You could smell the intensity of the tomato from the vine itself. Sometimes you just got to shift gears and be flexible in terms of what you're going to make for dinner. So I've got our tomatoes. I'm just going to put off to the side for a sec. I've got our sausages. I'm just going to cut these up very, very roughly, probably in about, that's maybe about 3 or 4 pieces each. There we are, and we're just going to cook these, there we are, in these big chunks. So I'm just going to get these right into a pan, and we're going to cook those as they are and start to render some of the fat out of the sausage. These are beautiful sausages in a nice natural casing, and so when I see these in the market, I mean, sometimes it just gives you ideas, and it just drives the decision that you didn't have when you quite left the house. And so I know these are going to have a little bit of heat to them. I know they're going to have a good bit of seasoning that's going to leach out into our pasta, and so I'm taking that into consideration as I'm getting our vegetables and our seasonings ready for our sauce. There we are. If a little bit of the meat falls out, it is not a problem at all. There we are. It's all going in the same place. All right. So this will form the basis of the seasoning for our sauce. Now we're just going to get the rest of our vegetables ready here as well. I've got 1 white onion that I'm just going to cut up. I'm going to say kind of medium dice. There we are. Because this is going to cook in the oven for a good half hour, and so our vegetables will cook down into our sauce. We've got a couple of cloves of garlic. Now these are spicy Italian sausages, and so I do expect there to be a little bit of garlic as part of the seasoning profile of the sausage. I do expect there to be fennel seed. I do expect there to be a little bit of spice, and so as that cooks out, I don't want to overdo it with my seasonings as well. I also have 1 chili pepper. Again, we're not going to go more than that, as I do expect the sausage to bring a little bit of heat to the party here as well. All right. So our vegetables are all pretty well ready to go. We're just going to give this a quick wash up and tidy up, and I will be back in 2 minutes. All right, we are washed up, and all we're going to do now is we're going to start by adding a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in our pan. We're going to crank up the heat and get this going. Now all we want to do is start to get a little bit of color on our sausage. So we want to start to brown this. We're not going to cook this all the way through in the pan. We have our oven preheated at 400 degrees, and we're going to basically cook this for the most part in our oven. I've got my water coming up to the boil. We're making, what this is probably about a batch and a half. So this is going to be enough for, I'd say, easily 6 to 7 people, 6 to 7 hungry people. So what I have here is I have 750 grams of a good quality organic pasta. This is what they call casareccia or strozzapreti. Strozzapreti means the strangling of the priest. So it's the priest's collar, giving it a little tug, would ultimately strangle the priest. But I digress. We've got our 750 grams of good quality short pasta that we're going to use for this application. And all we're going to do now is we're going to start to get a little bit of color on the sausage. Once we have some color on the sausage, we're going to throw in our vegetables, a little splash of white wine, and we're going to put that in the oven for about 30 minutes. And all of that will come together in a 400-degree oven. So we are going to let our sausage go here for about another 3 or 4 minutes, just until we get some color. And so I will see you in about 3 or 4 minutes time. All right, we've given our pan about 3 or 4 minutes. We're getting some color on our sausage. Our sausage is by no means anywhere near completely cooked, but we're just going to start to get some of that fat rendering out and some of that caramelization started on the outside of our sausage. So now what we've got our onions, our garlic, and our chili pepper. We're just going to throw that right in. There we are. We've got our beautiful cherry tomatoes. We're going to get those right in our pan as well. Like I said, this will easily feed, with this amount of sauce, I'd say probably even closer to 8 people by the time we are all said and done. And so we're just going to get everything stirred around. We're going to give this just a quick seasoning. So we want to be somewhat mindful of the amount of salt that's in our sausage. So we will give this just a couple of pinches of salt, as we do have a fair amount of vegetable in there. Good bit of freshly cracked black pepper as well. There we are. And we're going to give this a nice stir to mix everything up. Oh, nice. The smell coming off this pan is absolutely phenomenal. There we are. So we are going to get this right into the oven. You notice all of the pots and pans that I have in my kitchen all have metal handles, all have riveted handles. These can go from the stovetop to the oven, to the dishwasher, to the barbecue, to the charcoal grill if necessary. These are just all-around pans. And so when you are choosing your pan, you do kind of keep that in mind in terms of your cooking style. If you do tend to go from stovetop to oven, you do want something with a completely metal handle so that it can handle the heat of the oven as well. All right, so I'm gonna cut the heat on the stove here, put this into the oven, and this is gonna go into the oven for 30 minutes. So I will see you in about 15. Almost forgot, before it is going into the oven, I do have about 4 or 5 ounces of a good dry white wine that I'm gonna put right into my pan here. And this is going to help, again, start to break down those tomatoes, get all that tomato juice starting to leach out into our sauce to start to form the basis of our sauce, but it's going to add some moisture and some acidity to this as well. So now that that's in, I'm just going to bring that up to the simmer and then get that into my 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. So as soon as this is up to the simmer, I will come back and I will see you about 15 minutes into the cook. All right, our sauce is down to its last 11 minutes of cooking, which is conveniently exactly the amount of time I need for my pasta to be a beautiful al dente. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to salt my water. I'm going to give this a good 2 or 3 tablespoons of sea salt. This is on a pretty aggressive boil, and I've got my 750 grams of pasta that I'm just going to add to this. There we are. Perfect. We're going to give this a quick stir, and we are going to start our timer. There we are. So in 11 minutes, we will be bringing it all together, and we will be going to the plate. So I will see you in that time. All right, we've got 2 minutes left on our pasta. We are just going to pull our sauce out of the oven, and we'll see what that looks like. Look at that. That looks absolutely stellar. All right, so we're just going to make sure that we have a glove on here because I know this is hot. So we will keep this right back on the heat as we finish this up. We have only one more thing to add, which is this beautiful bunch of basil that I'm just going to cut up in very fine ribbons. And there we are. There we are. This is the last little bit of seasoning that's going to be going into our sauce. Oh, just smell that as it hits the heat. There we are. Let's get all of this in there as well. All right. And we will give this one final stir, and then we will test for seasoning before we throw in our noodles. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautifully blistered cherry tomatoes. Oh, I can smell the flavor of the sausages that have infused into that sauce. Absolutely beautiful. Our onions have cooked down. Everything is beautifully sweet and sticky and jammy. Let's give that. Oh, that needs nothing. That needs absolutely nothing. Love that. We will give our pasta one last stir. Oh, there we are. And there's our alarm. We will just shut that off. All right. And now we will drain our pasta. And as we always do, we will finish that directly in our sauce. Just, oh, the smell of that is absolutely stellar. Absolutely stellar. That's a little bit warm. And so we will get a little more protection here. There we are. There we are. Drain that off. And right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Throw these two guys in. And we will continue to give that a stir. Oh, the smell is absolutely fantastic. There we are. Now we just want to let this pasta finish in this sauce for about a minute or so. And that way it will continue to soak up all of those flavors. The surface starch from the noodles will continue to thicken the sauce. And this is the way it's done. All this needs is a beautiful dusting of our Parmigiano Reggiano. And we're there. We are there. Oh, absolutely fantastic. I'm telling you, I've been thinking about this since I was in the market today. As much as I love a good roast chicken, and I do love a good roast chicken, but this is one of those dishes that it all just came together as I was shopping, and I'm happy that it did. Oh. There we are. All right, we will take this off the heat, and we will go right to the plate. There we are. All right. Oh. There we are. Make sure we get some of those sausages in there as well. Oh, look at that. That is what I'm talking about. And now, as we always do, we're going to make it snow with a little bit of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. This came off a beautifully large block. We're going to make it snow. There we are. And as we stir this in, again, this will continue to thicken our sauce. Oh, come on. Come on. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing else needed. Oh. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. That is absolute perfection. The sweetness of those cherry tomatoes, the garlic, the onions. Oh, absolutely fantastic. A little bit of that chili. Now we're going to get a little piece of the sausage here. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, come on. There's nothing finer. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, there's a beautiful, delicate heat that just permeates right through. The heat from the spicy sausage, heat from the chili pepper, but the sweetness of those tomatoes. I can't get over the sweetness of those tomatoes. Like absolute candy. Savoriness of the sausage. This is one of those dishes. Honestly, you've got to try this. Do try it. It's a simple dish, and I'm telling you, this is food that feeds the soul. It will warm you from the inside out. Seasonally, this is exactly what you need at this time of year, and this is exactly what you need to bring the family around the dinner table. From our table to yours, as always, do like and subscribe. If you find the content useful, by all means, do feel free to share it, as that is what it's there for. And this is Coach Joe saying, I do hope you try this, and I will see you on the next one.